My name is Dave Foord. In this screencast I'm going to show how we can alter things like the header and the footer when we're using PowerPoint. In this case I'm using PowerPoint 2007, but the principles work very similarly with other versions of PowerPoint. Now in an earlier screencast I showed us how to set up things like the master slide. If I just go back to that master slide, so View and Slide Master, and then I click on the top box, what we've got at the bottom here are three boxes. Okay, the left hand one is the date region, the middle one is the footer, which is where you can enter your own information, and the third one is a page number or slide number area. Now you can change the colours of them, you can move them around, you can put a line across the screen to demarcate it, you could put the slide numbers at the top if you wanted, and there's all sorts of things that we can do with the footers within the master slide. But when we come in here you'll notice that the footers aren't showing up on my slide. Now for us to make them sort of show up, we have to go to the Insert option and then Header and Footer. And it brings up this little dialog box that's here. Now we've got options. Include on slide. If I click the box for date and time, it will put the date and time so it's visible on the slide. And you can either set it so it updates automatically, or you can choose a fixed date, so you actually put the date, for example, that you created the presentation, and that doesn't change every time you open the file. You can also show the slide number, and you can incorporate a footer, which could be, for example, your name, or it could be a copyright statement. So I'll put in copyright and a little copyright statement at the bottom. And you've got the option of ticking the box that says don't show on title slide. If you click that, then they won't show up on the title slide, but they will show up on any subsequent slides within your presentation. What you also have is a tab for your notes and handouts. So if you want it so that the things appear when you print them out, but not when they're visible on the screen, then you can do similar sorts of things here. And if you look in this bottom right corner, it will show you what the preview looks like. So if I printed my slideshow out as a handout in Word, I can have it so that things like the date and time and the page numbers appear around the edge of the page. And that can be very useful if students are printing stuff out, or you're printing it out for the students, and they kind of get their notes out of order. This can help them to get them back into order. Now another little trick that I used to use, sometimes I wanted slide numbers to appear when I printed my notes out, but not to appear actually on the presentation. And the way I used to get around that was in the master slide, I would go to the region for the page numbers, and all I would do is set the font colour to be the same as, or very similar to, you can have it so it's slightly different, as the background slide. That way it doesn't show up on the screen when you're viewing it. However, if I come out of the master slide, if I wanted to print these out as notes, and I went to the file and print, and then I chose slides and I changed that to handouts or notes, either or. I'll choose handouts for example. If I then change the colour to pure black and white, now what pure black and white will do is it will print it in black and white, so it doesn't matter about the background colour, it will just make that white, and any text in the presentation will be printed as black, and that includes my slide numbers. So that's a clever way of having your slide numbers appearing on every slide when you print the information, but without it having visible when you want to display it on the screen, because it's not always desirable to have the slide number appearing. If I clicked on OK, that would then go off to the printer. One thing we can't do in PowerPoint, which is really annoying, is have a thing that says slide number X of Y. So for example, if you've got 5 slides, having it saying slide 3 of 5. You can do it in Word, you can do it in things like Excel, but you can't do it in PowerPoint, and that's a real shame, because I think would be very useful. If I just go back to show you how it looks with some of the options set, so header and footer on my slide, footer, I'll put my name this time because I didn't actually say the changes before, and click on apply. What you now see is on this slide here my name's appeared at the bottom of the screen in the centre, and in the centre of the next slide it should have appeared, but it hasn't done. That's obviously not got something quite right in the master slide, but I can come back to that one. Oh, I need to apply it here as well. It's because I've got the different master slide to the other ones. So if I click on apply, that's applied to that slide, and then if I added more slides, I would apply to